So in this episode, the car takes a leak, we can have a bit of a breather, and then shed some light on the situation. Oh yeah. Back again in the TTS, we've got a few little loose ends to tie up before we can go for an m.o.t. Will it pass? Who knows, but we need to get cracking in it, so let's go. Pairs, so this is the Undertray. This is the good side. Obviously the mounting points are all intact. And the end piece, not even there. So, bit of fiberglass, because this looks like fiberglass to be fair. When you look at it, it's all little strands, you can see. Yeah, let's see what we can come up with. This one should be straightforward. I obtained some aluminium mesh so I can form a basic shape of what I'm after. Not an exact science here, just some strategic cuts to allow me to make that deep recess. And now I've made that cut, I need to make a small piece to bridge the gap. Some small dabs of hot glue to keep it in shape, and let me get on to the next stage quickly. I guess you can call it a mould of sorts. So out with a glue gun again to attach our mould to the Undertray. Now with fiberglass resin in hand, I can mix it with some hardener. And like most things of this nature, it stinks. Crack a window if you're trying this one at home, yeah? Jeez. Mix it up thoroughly. And as you can see, the surface has been roughened up to promote adhesion. Then I can begin to lay out the cut pieces of glass fibre mat. Layering them up and allowing them to dry, then repeat until there's a solid form. It's long, but needs must. One for the ASMR heads. Listen to that. Anyway, that mould is done with now. That tape was on there to stop the resin leaking through to the other side. Can you imagine if I got that on the floor? Fatality. Looks a bit messy at the moment, but that isn't bad at all. Stick with me on this one. Bit of sanding. We're good. Now with that set in place, I can scrape off the old hot glue. Then it's time to get busy with a Dremel tool, trimming back any parts that sit proud. Mask up for this one, and a bit more profiling. Now it looks like someone's had some sort of narcotics party on my Undertray. Let's clear the scene. Next, the edges can be shaped up using some tape as a guide. Now the other parts that were slightly cracked are filled in with some ABS plastic and a suitable heat source. It's worked a treat. Sanded it back smooth and this part's done. But back to our repair, it's time for a skim of filler to improve the finish. I know it doesn't have to be perfect, as this is under the car, taking whatever the road throws at it. But we do what we do. So let's get busy with a spray. That first coat shows me what I'm working with and where I need to sand more. Not bad though. Now another thing people forget is the cabin filter. This filters out pollen, pollution, dust, all sorts, so well worth doing every service. Let's go and change it. So the filter is located under the glove box, or the back of the glove box I should say. A couple of plastic fastenings and we can get that changed. That little clip, and there should be another one. Another one just there. Now they make this one easy for you. Twist them off and pull down the foam cover. The filter's buried under that hex patterned lid. To remove is literally slide to the left and it drops down. That's the filter. There you can see all of the rubbish is caught. Nasty. Let's get a new one in there. Bosh. Imagine not having a filter. All that crud you see will be going straight up your nose. Let's get the fresh one in. Shove it back up there. Slide to the right. Foam cover back in place. Oh, this is child's play. And that last bit of dirt making a run for it. Slap the 2 plastic screws in place and we're good. Lovely filtered air. It's so fresh. That's another job done. On to the next. Bosh. Now, a friend of mine managed to get me the online service record for this car. Last done at 12,000 miles or so. So it's time for an oil change. Up we go again. Safety first. Don't forget your stands. I'm not trying to make my missus a widow out here. A sump plug can now be loosened. Simple. And then the oil drained. The colour of it tells me it's about time it was done. Leave this for too long and the oil will congeal, almost like cholesterol in an artery, restricting flow, which in turn can lead to oil pressure issues or at worst, engine failure. It's not good. So new sump plug. Many reuse the old one, which is fine, but for the sake of a few quid, I'd rather replace and have a fresh washer on there. I don't want no leaks after filling up. So that can go on and then get torqued to spec. Now there's no point changing the oil without changing the filter, and it hides inside here. Before that though, so this little clip needs to come off, or it's like a large screw. Now this will save making a massive mess on the floor. Think ahead and save yourself some time. Nobody wants that cleanup on aisle 1. No way!
And then that little orange nipple, push it in and it will empty out the filter housing.
Now a fairly hench socket is needed to get this off. It shouldn't be too tight though. See? That would have been 10 times worse if I hadn't partially drained it. Old filter cartridge. A big on. People forget this O-ring as well. It's not very obvious at first sight. New one inside. Using a bit of residual oil to coat it. That reduces the risk of it pinching or deforming when tightening it up. Fresh filter. And it's handy that they put the torque spec on the housing itself. So we hand tighten and then torque, following those figures. Make sure that orange nipple is fully out.
That's what she said.
Before replacing the screw cap. Wipe down your area and get ready for the fill up. Looks like nectar. The engine will thank you for this. Spot on. Another job done. So I've got a replacement driver's side headlight, but hasn't got the ballast. I need to take off the old one, which is in pieces on this kitchen floor. Check it out. So here we got the replacement. All nice and intact. Even got the bulbs in it, look. But missing the ballast or the driver for the light bulb itself. That's where we move over to here. This piece of mess. Luckily, I don't throw nothing away. And we got the ballast here. So I'm gonna swap that over quickly. That little ballast could have cost a pretty penny and ruined my day. I hope this one hasn't sustained any damage. It's 4 screws and 2 connectors, then reversal or removal. Sorted. Thumbs up. Now the other side took a bit of a graze to the face. Luckily, it's superficial. We can fix that. Firstly, I'll mask off the sections close by. It's way too easy to stray out of your zone and create more work for yourself. That ain't efficient. Armed with my sanding attachment on my drill, I hit it with some 240 grit pads. That'll level the area and remove most of the damage. But it's nowhere near done. We got to hit it with 400, 800, 1500, all the way up to 3000, and everything in between. Need that OEM finish, boy. Let's go. As I get through each step, I can see clearly now. The scratches be gone. Going further, some polish to refine things a little bit more. Check it out. What damage? So I'm going to lacquer the headlight just to give it that UV protection like factory. So let's go. So as you can see, we've masked up this part. So we don't want to get any overspray. We also want to leave a little gap so the blend can be sort of faded out. Yeah, let's get to it. Now, if you didn't re-lacquer, you'd find after a period of time, it'll cloud up or turn yellowy. That ain't ideal. Next. Now this headlight support, you can see, is just glued together because I wanted to get it sat. I'm sorry I looked, but we got the replacement right there. I like these tiny little errands. They bring the build together. It's so easy to leave things like these as they aren't seen. But I'm not about that life. Let's get it done. The replacement was under a tenner and only 3 bolts hold it in. Could probably do that blindfolded. But seriously, the details make the difference. Just like that. Another bugbear was the boot struts failing. Can't be having that. Makes you realise how heavy a boot is when you have no assistance. Replacements were cheap enough though, and it's just a couple of awkward clips holding each end in. A new one just clips in. I'll skip showing the other side as I was a bit paranoid about losing my head whilst holding the camera and shaking the car about. So as you can see, it's fixed. I'm happy with that. So with all that done, it was time to head down to the m.o.t station. Will we pass? Of course we pass. What do you think this is? This is Tings on Wheels. Check that out. Check that out. That's what I'm talking about. I guess you'll have to tune in next time for the reveal. I'm Wayne. This is Tings on Wheels. Bless up.